Hi. This video is going to be about the difference between a feral horse and an abused horse. They're different. I make a living working with horses that have been through 2 or 3 trainers and failed the programs for one reason or the other. No fault of the trainers. I'm not putting anybody down. But I think the difference between a feral horse and an abused horse is their history of treatment. A feral horse has no history with the human. Any overreaction or fear or anxiety that they have is fabricated from their minds. A change in their environment causes them to think they're going to die. And bottom line is, their fear of dying is what causes them to do all the things that we as humans say are bad and we try to fix. But the nature of a feral horse is they have no history. No history of contact, no history of abuse, no history of anything. It's all created in their mind. So the way that we work with horses that have had no contact with humans is we start creating a history. Give them good references to pull up in their little brain. Horses that have been abused, we got to prove to them that we're not the person that abused them. We have to prove to them that there is a better way and a better response to stimulus. But a feral horse has no reference. All we have to do is interact with them in such a way as it's pleasant and makes good history between us. I've had a lot of troubled horses come in here that treated me really nice because they had no history with me, and the abuses and the troubles never manifested themselves because I didn't hit the triggers in the same way to get the incorrect responses to stimulus. So somebody will bring me a horse here that says he bites, kicks, and strikes. Well, he don't bite, kick, or strike me. And I'm not unconscious. I'm aware. I made it to 71 by thinking my way through situations. My job out here is to teach them that a different response to stimulus is more beneficial to them. And that's all not stuff just to write on the back of a t-shirt. It's how we approach it. And how we approach a feral horse. To be brutally honest, we can do anything we want with a feral horse as long as we create a good outcome. We will create a good history. That's why a lot of trainers want blank slates. They don't want horses that's been through 2 or 3 other programs because they got to reteach everything. One of the most common things that I've ever heard in this business was, all the groundwork's done, just step up on him and ride. Well, there you go. We've all heard that. So what we're going to do today, if you've been watching any of the videos that I've made with Promise here, Promise was as close to feral as you're going to get without being a Mustang off the desert. And Promise had no history with humans. And if you've been watching these videos with Promise, you'll notice that in the last two videos I've made, I've stepped it up quite a bit. I've made more louder requests. In the very beginning, I just wanted this horse to not climb out of a pen. So what we're going to do in this little video is I'm going to give Promise some more history with humans to draw upon. I think horses think in pictures. They see a situation and that picture that comes to their mind causes a reaction. You come at them with the flag and they crash into the walls, or you come at them with a flag and you pet them with it. Now they see a flag and the picture that comes to mind is he's going to pet me. Or now they see a flag and the picture that comes to mind is they're going to chase me around in the pen. That's history. That's a reaction to stimulus. The feral horse has no history with humans or their tools. And so you can pull a flag out on a feral horse and you have a short amount of time to prove to that horse that it don't have to be afraid and crash into the pens and try to climb out and try to escape or try to fight. The troubled horse might have been taught to do that. So now you have to use a totally different approach with the troubled horse so that you can teach it a different response to stimulus. With the feral horse, all you have to do is provide a good outcome. And what we're going to do with Promise today is just, hopefully, what I'd like to do is Promise will let me catch her. But I'm just going to give her some more history with good results, hopefully, so that the catching gets easier and easier so that Grandma can catch it, because catching's going to be a pleasurable experience, I hope. The only history that Promise has getting caught is with me. And I have tried to make getting caught a safe experience. But today we're going to work on it just a little bit more. And we're going to take this large halter and I'm going to put it on over the top of the halter that she's wearing until she stands quiet. You remember how yesterday I was putting my finger in her mouth? And we kept doing that until she was reasonably quiet. It wasn't as good as I want it to be, but it was a really good place to quit her. So this is kind of an explanation on how I treat troubled horses or feral horses differently. And hopefully Promise gets better. I hope. That's my goal. And might as well get started. Now in the very beginning here, I'm probably going to use the existing halter to help me get started, but that's not my goal. So I'm going to walk up there and I want to pet her. I've taught her that this is good. And I've taught her if I go behind her, she needs to step forward. I'm going to use this haltered catcher. There. Now I'm going to take this halter and just pet her. I want to get her to where I can catch her like this. I'm going to try not to pull on this halter if I can. Lots of pets. Lots of pets. All of the places that I need. I'm not trying to be too sneaky about this. I'm trying to make this as nonchalant as I can. That's why I really like these stiff rope halters. Really like them. It lets me do things like this. There. Now I'm pulling her over with the blue halter, trying not to use this big halter. In order for Promise to have a good life, we got to be able to catch her, not just me catch her. We'll pet her here a little bit more. There we go. Now we'll catch her again. Bring her back over here. There. I'm trying not to use the existing halter. Trying not to. I'll have to go back to this. I'm trying to keep her from crowding into that fence too. That's my goal. What I'm trying to do is touch this nose and be gone before she flinches. A lot of these problems, they're not really problems. She just doesn't know what to do. She doesn't have any history. She doesn't have any history of being hard to catch. She doesn't have any history with the halter, other than what I've shown her. If you have a stiff halter, and you get the large size or the draft size, it'll fit right on your catch halter. And every time I go up over that nose, I'm going to come down here and pat her. trying to find those spots that don't have any history. Now remember, this isn't a troubled horse, this is a feral horse. We're trying to make all of her history good, so she doesn't have bad to draw on. A troubled horse that's hard to catch has history. We have to overcome that history. We have to teach different responses to stimulus. This horse has no history. So everything that we do with this horse is brand new. All of the anxiety and the fear and the panic is self-induced. The fear of the unknown, if you will. The other is the fear of the known. They're totally different approaches. Remember last night I rubbed her with the flag until her head was quiet. That was in preparation for today. Everything we do is we're preparing for tomorrow. Everything. I would like to see her let me do that without jumping. I'm still having to use the catch halter to put this on. That's not my goal. There, I did it without the catch halter, but I had to make a pretty big move. But that's an improvement. And they only have to get better every day. There, I caught her again without the catch halter. Lots of rubs. One more time without the catch halter and this lesson will be over. There we go. There we go. Well, anyway, in my opinion, that's the difference between a feral horse and a troubled horse. And it's how I've been making my living for the last, well, I hurt my back about, I don't know, 15 years ago. And I had to change the focus of my equine kindergarten deal. So next time that you have a horse that you're working with, is the horse feral with no history? Or is the horse troubled with incorrect responses to stimulus trained into it? You'll have to approach it differently in order to be successful. And every horse's personality is different. Every horse's history is different. I'm a big one on believing that the history of the horse determines the level of trouble. And it's trouble that's been trained into them oftentimes. But these are just my thoughts. If you're getting any value out of these videos, I would really appreciate it if you're watching them on YouTube, if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, Equine Kindergarten, or if you're watching them on Facebook, if you would follow me on Facebook, Butch Mowdy. A blatant advertisement. I never thought I'd ever do blatant advertisements, but I guess I do. Just trying to pay my share of the bills around here. Promise is going to be up for adoption. I believe she's a registered POA. We're a long ways away from letting Grandma adopt her, but if you're interested and you want to know more about Promise, contact Mandy Stewin at Horse and Halo Horse Rescue. Her and Uno came in at the same time, and Uno, the yearling paint gelding, is doing all the stuff. We'll try and send another video your way of Uno working. I did a progress report with Uno a couple days ago where he was getting in and out of my 2-horse Blake trailer and going across the mattress and going around the circus pole, bleeding with quality. I was picking up his feet. Real nice yearling. I'm not totally convinced that this might be a 2-year-old, maybe. I believe I was told it was a registered or could be registered POA, but you'll have to get that kind of information from Mandy Stewin at Horse and Halo Horse Rescue. Or you could ask me questions about her. I'll sure tell you the truth. I've made a living telling the truth for a long time now, and I ain't gonna lie to you. But I hope this stuff is helping you, and I'm just trying to give back what was given to me when I was a kid. Thank you for your time. See ya.